Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So glad to have you guys here today. As you can see from the title, the thumbnail, the description box, today I'm going to be doing kind of like a country review of Portugal and of Spain. If you haven't done so already, please go watch my vlog. I'll link it like somewhere up here. But before we get into the video, as always, please make sure you are subscribed to my channel and turn on your post notifications so you never miss whenever I do post a video. So if you watch my vlog, you would know that a couple months ago I went to Portugal and I went to Spain on my first solo trip. So this is just going to be like an overview on the country, and I broke it up into, well, the countries, and I broke it up into 4 parts. So the first part is going to be about the cost, the second part is going to be about the transportation, next we have the people, and then we have, is it solo travel friendly? So yes, let's get right into the video. So the first country I'm going to start with is Portugal, because that is the first country that I officially went to solo. Now, cost. For me, going to Portugal, I went from New York. I went from, I believe it was JFK, and round trip, I got my Portugal ticket for, I want to say about 3 something. If I could find it, I'll put it on the screen. I got it for 3 something, and I bought it early. I bought it like in about like July, so I bought it kind of early, and that was a steal. It was great. In terms of what I spent in Portugal, I found Portugal to be on the affordable side. I did stay in Lisbon, and the food in Lisbon was on the cheaper side, I would want to say, compared to like where I live in Georgia and also New York. I would say it was on the cheaper side. For a meal, you probably would spend about like $8 to $10 US after you do the conversion, so that was pretty affordable. All my accommodations were cheap. I got them on, I believe it was Airbnb. If not, I got them on Booking. No, I got one on Booking, one on Airbnb, and for it being like the holidays around Christmas, they were pretty cheap as well. But those I did book in advance, so that might have played a role. But overall, I would consider Portugal to be a very affordable country. Well, at least Lisbon, I would say, is a very affordable city. So in terms of transportation in Lisbon, for the first couple of days while I was getting acquainted with the city, I did take Ubers, and Ubers were like dirt cheap. I think the most I spent on an Uber was like maybe like 4 or 5 euros, and that was the most. Usually they were like €2 and change, €1 and change, so it was really affordable. From my hotel, I was able to like walk to the main square. Probably was like a 15-minute walk. Lisbon really isn't that big, so I was able to really walk a lot of places if I wanted to. But with Uber being so cheap, I would just take Ubers here and there. There was this one day where I wanted to take the bus, because there's this famous, not like a bus, it's like a tram cart. I think it's called a tram actually. Yes, the tram 28. I'll put a picture here, but it's like this famous train bus in Portugal, and I wanted to take it. So I got this day pass, and the day pass was €6.90, and you're able to take the tram for 24 hours. So I was literally doing, like, that day I think I took like 9 buses. But yeah, there's no need for you to rent a car when in Portugal. Like, you can either walk, you can Uber, you can take the train, the bus. The people in Portugal were very hospitable. They were very nice. I think one thing that really shocked me about Portugal was the number of black people that I saw in Portugal. I don't know what I thought Portugal was before I went, but like literally almost every establishment that I went in Portugal, there were black people there. Black people in like high positions too, like manager positions. So that was really good to see. Overall, people were very hospitable, very nice. If I needed anything, I would just ask someone, and everyone spoke English, which was also a surprise to me. Everyone spoke English. I think the first day while I was there, I took out my translator app on my phone, and I had translated something to the waitress, and she replied in English. So we just both laughed about it, and yeah, I didn't have any problems in Portugal. Definitely would go back. Is it solo travel friendly? Well, I did go there on my first solo trip, so I might be kind of biased, but yes, I definitely would recommend Lisbon for a first time solo travel city, especially if you're nervous or you're scared. From the people, everyone, like I said, everyone speaks English. Everyone was so nice and hospitable. Compared to other cities, it's really small, like I said, so you're able to walk and get acquainted with the city. I think on like day 3 or 4 of being there, like I didn't even need my GPS, and I suck at directions, but it was just so small that I was able to really like know the city like the back of my hand just from me being there for 4 days. So that's really perfect. There's a lot of activities, a lot of tours for you to do, so you won't really get bored. In my opinion, I felt safe while I was there, so if you're thinking about solo traveling, definitely do it. And like I said, because it's such a small city, you don't really feel like overwhelmed to do so many things. Like, you know, like when you go to a city like, let's say New York, for instance, there's so much for you to do while you're there. Like, you have to go here, you have to go here, you have to go here. But while in Lisbon, you can really just sit down and just enjoy the fact that, okay, I'm on my first solo trip, I'm doing it, I'm not pressured to do anything. And yeah, I really liked it, and I think you also will love it. Another category that I didn't mention in the beginning, but I do want to add, I want to add length of time, right? So length of time is basically like how long I stayed and how long I think you should stay. So when I first went to Lisbon, I stayed 4 days, and then I left and I came back and I stayed 3 days. Now, if you're only staying in Lisbon, I think that you need a maximum of 4 days. Like, I would say between 2 and 4 days is good in Lisbon. So what happened to me was, because I was there for those 4 days, I basically did everything that I wanted to do in those 4 days. So when I came back for the 3 days, it was kind of like a drag. Like, okay, like I've done this, I've been to this mall 3 times, I've eaten where I would need to eat, I did the tours that I want to take. So I don't know, I kind of felt bored on my last 3 days. So keep that in mind. If you're going to Lisbon, I recommend really between 2 and 4 days. 4 days is like, you've seen the city. Like I said, it's just so small. So definitely keep that in mind if you are thinking about going to Portugal. So next, we're going to talk about Spain. So like I said, I went to Portugal and I went to Spain. Now, the cost to go to Spain. I specifically went to Spain from Portugal because they're neighbors and it was cheap. I think my flight was like $26 to go to Spain and maybe like 30 something to come back. So all in all, let's just say I spent like $75 round trip for a flight to Spain, which was just great. I went to Barcelona and I stayed for 1 week. Now, whilst in Barcelona, I will say that Barcelona is a bit more on the pricier side than compared to Lisbon. It's still not really expensive. I feel like the prices are, again, I really don't have anything to compare it to than like, I would say like typical Georgia, Atlanta prices, typical like Bronx, New York, Brooklyn, Queens prices. That's what I would say. I feel like for an average meal, like at a restaurant, not like an upscale restaurant, you're probably paying like maybe like $15. So not super expensive, but a bit, you know, more expensive than compared to Lisbon. In terms of my accommodations, like I said, I bought my stuff very early, and for it being Christmas, I spent New Year's actually in Spain. It wasn't really expensive. One of my hotels, actually, let me take that back. One of my hotels, I stayed there for 3 days. That's because on Christmas and, no, sorry. That's because on New Year's and on New Year's Eve, they had like triple the prices. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not staying here. So I moved to a different hotel, which is a bit cheaper. But other than that, being in Spain, it really wasn't like too expensive. Just a bit pricier than, you know, Lisbon. So unlike Lisbon, the transportation in Barcelona was a bit on the, I want to say, the pricier side. So I really did not take Ubers for too long. I know the first time I took an Uber from the airport, which I had to, and that Uber was probably like, I want to say like $50, $60, and I was just like, yeah, this is how much the price is going to be. I'm not taking Ubers anymore. The first day from my hotel, I had walked 20 minutes to the square because my first hotel was kind of far. I had walked, which was free. Love that. And then the next day I had gotten bus passes. I just kept getting bus passes and train passes. No, sorry, I got train passes. The trains in Barcelona, excellent. Like literally, I love them. If you go to Barcelona, do not rent a car again. Do not take Ubers, do not take Free Now. Just please hop on the train. The train was just amazing. What I love about the train is that it's just so easy to navigate, and it's like if you miss a train, they have this thing where it counts down, so you know that the next train is like right behind it. And I think the trains were coming like, I want to say like every 4 minutes, which was just perfect. So transportation in Barcelona, I would definitely say you can walk a lot of places. If you're like in the center, you can walk, and you can take the trains and the buses, definitely. So the people in Spain, they were, I don't want to say that they weren't friendly, but they gave me like a New York vibe, like, you know, speak when spoken to kind of vibe. But anytime that I needed help with something, you know, I would ask someone for directions. They would always help me. They would always stop for me. So yeah, that was pretty good. I did meet a lot of foreigners. I met this one girl on my walking tour who she used to live in Brooklyn, and she now lives in Barcelona. I think that was like her first week there. I met these 3 guys on the train. I think 2 of them were from like the UK and 1 of them was from Italy. So yeah, in terms of the Spanish people who actually, you know, grew up in Spain, I didn't really have much of an interaction with them other than me asking for like directions and they would help me. So yeah, they were pretty hospitable, I would say. Is Barcelona solo travel friendly? Again, me being biased, I would definitely say Barcelona is solo travel friendly. I think Barcelona is one of those cities where, first of all, I think it's like the complete opposite to Lisbon, number 1. It's literally night and day. Barcelona is more for someone who, you're more adventurous on your solo trips because there's just so much to do in the city, so many places to eat, so many museums. There's just so much to do that it can kind of get overwhelming because like I said, you have to do so much. Like, it's a lot to do. So I definitely did love Barcelona for a solo trip. While I was in Barcelona, I did 2 walking tours. I went to the Picasso Museum. I did a boat ride. I did a cooking class. So yeah, like even though I was there by myself, I really didn't feel alone. And I was able to make friends, like I said, while I was there, and they invited me out to do different things. So Barcelona is another city where if you're scared but you're a bit more adventurous, I definitely would recommend it. And I love Barcelona so much that I'm definitely planning on going back, and this time I'll bring my friends. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite cities. It's up there. Now in terms of length of stay, I was in Barcelona for 7 days, and I kid you not, when it was time to leave, I was not ready to leave. Like, I could have done another 3 to 5 days in Barcelona because like I said, there's just so much to do. I don't think you would get bored there. I would say in Barcelona, you would need a minimum of 4 days. Between 4 and 10 days would be perfect. And even if you go for 4 days, within those 4 days, you'll probably just be like dipping your toe into what the city has to offer because that city just has so much to offer. Like, if I could compare it to somewhere, I would compare it to specifically like La Rambla Street in Barcelona. I would compare it to Times Square, but imagine Times Square being from like 40th Street to 45th Street, and it's just so many people within those 5 blocks. That's what I'm comparing that to. So yeah, there's definitely a lot to see. You can easily stay for 2 weeks if you wanted to. So guys, that was it for this video, and honestly, I think I'm gonna make this like a series because when I was looking for information and videos on Barcelona and Spain, I didn't really see many country reviews, like, you know, that was just short, concise, and straight to the point. So here's my video to you all. Please make sure you do subscribe to my channel and turn on your post notifications so you never miss when I post a video. And also comment like what other, I don't know, like questions or reviews you guys want to see me answer about these countries. I just thought about these 5 because they were personally things that I would want to know when going to these countries. So let me know what else you guys want to know. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.